Hello, Mr. Huxtable, and welcome, listeners and viewers, to another exciting episode of the CX podcast, R&R, with my good self, Richard Knight.
And my even better self, Rhian Huxtable. Good afternoon, Mr. Knight. How are you?
Exceedingly well, exceedingly well. It's lovely to see you as ever, and to have our slightly later chat this month. So apologies if anybody was waiting for it. Easter got in the way, I think, didn't it? A little bit.
Damn Easter.
And
your trip to Normandy. Your trip to Normandy got in the way.
Trip to Normandy, got over there. And as I was saying to you earlier, for those West Country people who love their cider, the Normandy cider is pretty Gertlash out there as well. So, if you go in, have some of that and have some of the poiré as well. It's very nice.
Very nice. Very nice.
Good.
So what do you want to say about customer experience at the minute then? What's your thoughts?
Well, we thought we could have some, large and deep and meaningful chat about stuff today, didn't we? And then we thought, well, what's going on in the world? What's going on in the world? What are we going to have a quick warble about today? And I think one of the key ones that is in the news and has quite a big impact in all of this customer and client experience stuff is the whole cost of living piece. It's all got a bit expensive. Your cider has probably gone up a few pence there, or more than a few pence, hasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, whether you are trying to fill your car up, the heating's been turned off on our house for about the last month, and every light is only allowing one light on in the house at the moment. Look, you're absolutely right. You can't. Businesses, consumers can't insulate themselves from some of the stuff that's going on at the minute, which makes the pound in the pocket much more important, doesn't it? I was listening to a radio interview this morning, and they were taking views on what people were cutting out to bridge the gap between the income they used to have and the income they now got. And there's things like Netflix subscriptions being cancelled, people cancelling their pet and home insurance, which probably isn't a bad idea, I guess, when you are making a decision about feeding your kids or insuring a house. So yeah, I suppose interesting. I mean, what are your thoughts?
So yes, the cost of living has a massive impact in terms of a whole client and customer experience now, because our perceptions of what value for money is changing. As the price is going up, it's very important people think about price, but businesses have still got to consider that 90% of purchase decisions are still going to be based from an emotional point of view. There is still that monetary impact, but they can choose to spend that money in a number of different places. So there is still that to consider. So we can't just sit back on our laurels as business owners or people who are running businesses and say, right, I'm just going to put my prices up by 5% anyway, because everybody else is, without actually examining what the journey is like, what your clients, your customers, your loyal customers are going to get. Are they going to get an increase in costs, but without a refocus on them as a really important client? And I've had a number of experiences in that already, in terms of, in fact, I had an email from the bank this very day telling me that my charges will be going up from the bank. I have yet to go into their website and read about all the marvelous things they're going to be doing for me as well. Or is it just these are the changes to our terms and this is how much we're going to charge you now? So we'll see what comes of it, but it's happening a lot now, and we've got to be aware as business owners and providers for our customers that we do have to keep an eye on that client experience level, because we can't let that drop.
I think it just building on that point, there's a couple of things in that for me. I think people will have less money, so when they spend their hard-earned income that they've got to go out and enjoy maybe a meal or a day out, or even if it's just a walk down to the beach and buy a coffee, that those moments, those experiences are going to be even more precious because there's going to be less of them. So I think that gives businesses a unique opportunity actually to delight their customers, so that when they're going to come again, which probably the following month or whenever, they're going to think, well, that was great, we'll do that again. So that I think being really conscious of the fact that life in general is costing more, from a how you deliver that experience, back to your point, Rich, is is an opportunity as well as a challenge. But the other thing that I think is interesting is looking at how businesses are handling this. So the point you just made about the bank, you're getting a letter, fait accompli, the charges are going up with no deferential, and for that we're doing X, and for that we're going to make your life easier. Yeah. But there's one exception to the rule that I've seen recently that I think have done a really good job. So my mobile phone bill's gone up, my BT Wi-Fi bill's gone up with no explanation. It's just, it's the annual increase. One business that stands out time and time again is Tesco Mobile, where they talk about the fact that when you agree a price with us, that'll be it for the lifetime value of the contract. And the amount of people I've heard who are changing their mobile network to Tesco because they're clear about what they're going to pay and they know what they're going to pay, it's been really surprising. And Tesco have almost put aside the issue of they talk about this is what you're going to pay, but then they talk about what you get for that. And they've coined this phrase supermarket mobile, and I think it's a really clever marketing ploy, and a really clear message to clients about this is what you're going to pay, this is what you're going to get, no hidden agenda. And I think most of the customer dissatisfaction that you see on forums and on social media, particularly with brands that don't do that, is because they're not straight with clients, they're not straight with their customers, they just spring stuff on them. And unfortunately, some of the telecoms businesses, not all clearly, but some of them are very, very bad at that. They promise you X, but they deliver Y.
And so this is an interesting point to make in terms of, so how do you go about doing it? What do you do to make sure that isn't something that puts your customers off and they go somewhere else? So that loyalty piece. I ran a session the other week actually about planning for that customer success, and it's actually not waiting to the end of the year and go, right, we're resetting our business goals, so therefore we need to have a look at some customer experience on the side of it. It's actually perhaps looking at on a quarterly basis and saying, what does the journey look like currently? What have we changed? If we've changed something, what has been the impact, negative or positive? And actually overlaying that onto the journey and seeing whether there are any pain points that have emerged based on the changes to what you've had to do. Now, we're not saying you can't increase prices, and clearly the world situation, the global situation means that these things are going to have to happen. But there is also an opportunity to use it as a great point to pause and actually do a little bit more investigation into what's going on. You've got to review, revise, reflect, review, and revise. And we've spoken about this previously on our podcast, reflect, review, and revise your customer strategy, if you like. Because there's no point in leaving it for a year like you might do on your business goals, because it isn't going to, it's not going to be right, because you may well be hemorrhaging a lot more customers, if we think about the telecom side of things, to other networks. So you've got to put that in place. So that would be one of our tips there for today.
And the bigger build, of course, is that, don't make decisions in isolation. Ask your customers what they want you to focus on. So when you are investing, or when you are changing something, be really clear that the customers that you have got that are, continuing to spend with you, do that in a way so that you deliver what it is that they're actually after. Still I hear an awful lot of assumption around, well, I know what my clients want, I know what my customers want. Okay, tell me what it is then. And a number of business owners I've spoken to recently, they'll have a top line view, but actually when you start to dig in under that, there's very little content there. So ask your customers, they will tell you what they want you to focus on and how they want you to support them during a tricky time.
A great example of that sort of I know best type sort of mentality from business owners and leaders is what I hear it a number of times is, we talk a lot about following up with potential clients. Inquiries come through, follow up, see whether they want to join you, because particularly now, more people are starting to follow up. They will get stolen from underneath your feet unless you are seen to be proactive. And for those businesses who say, oh, well, I wouldn't want somebody to follow up, I wouldn't want them to do the hard sell.
Rich, you're frozen again.
Keep going. We'll just see whether it comes through on the video or not. If it does, we'll.
You were talking about follow up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So follow up is a key example of what businesses can focus on, and they can't have that idea that they really understand everything about their customers. Business owners who say, I don't like people following up. Who doesn't like people following up? You personally, in which case that's fine. And it might have been that you've had a really bad experience as a business owner when somebody's trying to sell you something. But if it's done in the right way, it feels great. Oh, you're interested in my business. You want to know if there's any other questions I might have. You would like to ask me where I would like to go next. And you've given me some choices. What's wrong with that? You know, it's perfectly right. Particularly if I pick the telephone up to your business. I am interested. I've spent the time doing it. Give me a chance. I'd like to be your customer.
So loads there to think about this month. You know, walk in the shoes of your clients and your customers. Think about the pressures they're under financially. How do you provide a compelling, valuable product offering or service offering? And as you said, Richard, you know, although price will be more sensitive, it still won't for everyone be the be all and end all. You know, don't assume everyone is being you know, massively affected by what's happening. Many will be, of course, but we know some won't. So have a think about how you are going to react as a business to the cost of living increase.
Well, we like that one. That was quite good. That was very good. Well done.
Thanks.
Well done, Mr. Huxtable. Some good points. Well made.
So if you like what you've heard today, like, share and comment. Let us know what you think, and however you get your podcast, whether it be Spotify, Apple, or indeed if you're watching this in the flesh, we look forward to seeing you again next month.